Hey folks, Rick Berube here for another Facebook Live on this lovely Tuesday, June 8th. All right, June 8th. Wow. Hey, in 3 weeks, we will be halfway through the year, and hopefully you are halfway on the way to your goals. Okay, so today we are so fortunate to have from Menifee, California, the lovely Alesia Amodio. Right? All right. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So I think you have a very interesting real estate, history into where you got with us, in the last few weeks now. So the new
Yes.
manager of the Menifee office, I might add. All right. So
Yes,
tell me a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this. Give us a little history of you, please.
absolutely. So I've been in real estate for 15 years. Started in 2006, so that was fun. And that story led with me wanting to provide an income for my family and still be a room mom and go on field trips. And real estate seemed to be able to do that for me. I started as a transaction coordinator with some top producers. And soon after that, my education and training had been from the corporate world and in the communication centers of the world with cable and working with like 300 people. And I was in the training department and I loved it. And as I sat in this brokerage of this independent team, I realized quickly they had no structure. And as soon as they had gained income or went to the next deal, it was done. And so created a business partner and started an independent brokerage in 2010 and started from there. Had an independent brokerage and I loved it. The climate in our area changed and I'd sold it. And after that point, I really started reevaluating some of the things that I really wanted to do. And coaching and leadership is a big part of my DNA and makeup and what I do for on the regular is my side hustle. And so Berkshire seemed to align up with my goals and I'm here today.
All right. I love your poster behind you too. Do what the 1%, right? Be part of the
Yeah,
1%. Do what part the 99% won't do, which is very
ab-
important.
absolutely.
All right.
Huge.
All right, cool. All right. So do you want to give us like maybe one of your, when you were selling real estate, what was a typical year for you, volume wise and so forth?
Volume wise, so I got into the industry and was start just doing the Tuesdays, every quarter or so because I was working with this producing team, and then after that realized I could do more than that, and started getting 12 to 20 deals myself. And I would say the biggest year I had was last year, closing 41 deals with a partner as well. I had a team, and that was crazy. It was a lot of work, but I loved it because it was kind of just, grind, 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 next, and hustle, hustle, hustle.
That's great. That's great. So 41 transactions. Awesome. So how did you guys do most of your, like, what was your main source of getting your business? I think it'd be valuable for them to hear.
Well, you're going to love this is farming.
Nice.
Yeah, it's farming. We got a couple deals. Well, branding was a big deal. I'm a huge believer in branding. And so we had Jeeps, matching Jeeps. I had a black one, he had a white one. And we literally would drive the communities and kind of looked for U-Hauls, painters, construction, people doing work on their homes and had those conversations and just really started getting those ones, twos deals and really promoting every listing that came up, every sold that came up in that farm, and really took the market share in Marietta, California. And that's where it happened. And we did that same process in Temecula wine country on a larger scale. So working with multi-million-dollar homes, wineries, it just grew from that point. So the same process for your typical residential farm, still the same for your luxury home.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer that farming is a big deal. It's connecting and it's exposure.
Yeah. I think farming is a great deal too. And you guys out there with matching Jeeps and driving the neighborhoods and talking to people. Did you ever go out there and just like knock on the doors and stuff too? And,
Well,
canvas?
Expireds. So
Yeah.
that was another one, which, those are the challenging ones. Expireds, FISBOs. I do like FISBOs because I feel like they're the highest challenge. But you come in with a team if you come in there and boldly just knock on a door, it really says that I really want your business and I'm confident to take it.
Right.
So I did that, and then afterwards would always send brownies. So that was a big deal. Like I would send brownies and say, "Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me knock on your door." And so yeah, we drive our Jeeps up on some vacant land, call some people, or really just set those appointments ahead of time and drive it so people would see that boots on the ground type of thing.
Yeah, that proactive approach is really good. And I think that proactive approach today, especially with all the craziness, all the transactions, the appreciation, plus, California's got a decent amount of people moving out and moving in
And
always.
moving back, they're moving back too.
Yeah, moving out, moving back, moving in, upsizing, downsizing, side sizing. You got all kinds of stuff going on, right?
California.
California, baby. Woo!
California.
And speaking of farming, probably not a better state out there to go door knocking and you know uh, to do farming, right? Because of the weather's incredible.
The weather's always good. We do hit some temperatures here closer northern in this way, away from San Diego. So you got to time it just right. But the people are, I love that. Farming for me is something I'm very comfortable with. And I think that that's the best way you can show your value and commitment. When someone wants to sell their home, they really see that you're working for it. So there should never be a question about your value and their importance.
Yeah, I tell them all the time. Use the Videolicious app and video it. There's no better social media post than you out in your farm door knocking it for an open house or a new sale or one you just sold or all of the above. All right, to let the neighborhood know what you're doing, keep them informed. And like you just said, when they see you out there hustling, people that have to sell or want to sell or thinking about it in the near future are definitely attracted to that, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's just like when you see someone jogging, pushing their child in a stroller at the park. When you see somebody doing it, you always strike a chord with someone who admires that or wants that. And that's attractive to anybody when it comes to selling their home. They want to admire the person that's working for them, and they want to find that process attractive.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, good, good. How big was your farm? Like, what did you guys cover? Was it how many homes would you say?
I would say we had stretched it out. I mean, the farm itself was probably like 700, but the scope of all of it was close to 1,200 to yeah 22 yeah 1,200.
1,200 ish. Okay, that's a good sized farm. Yeah, in order to go around it enough times per year, it would be tough to make it much bigger. Although I know people that have slightly bigger of a farm. So, all right, so you guys would go out, you'd look for the trucks. Did you do the just listed, just sold campaign too, or?
Yes, I did. I definitely did all of it when open houses were happening. I did the whole steps where here's private invitation to my open house that's coming here. Come in first before everybody else does. Did you want to know how many people came into my home? So after the open house, I would say, hey, guess how much traffic we hear? This is what people are looking for. Your home is definitely what half of the people were looking for. So I had those conversations at the end of an open house. And then once it's sold, you went through the whole process. So definitely having a system and process for everything you do so you don't have to think about it makes what you do easy.
That's why the VAC 2.0 that you're starting to learn and see. And I know that you were like, wow, look at all this stuff we have here, right?
Incredible. And I'm embarrassed, not embarrassed, I'm very proud to be making Berkshire my home because it's easy to talk about because I 100% believe in it. I couldn't afford what Berkshire has in my independent brokerage. And I had top producers. I had 30 people, but the reality is we had to cut and paste and do so much. And when I started paying for it, I mean, the revenue, I just had no money afterwards.
Yeah.
So it wasn't productive. It wasn't the ultimate best for my agents. And even when I had sold and went to another company, I still saw the gaps in the process. And when I sat here and have gone through, and I'm here in 5 weeks, but in the last couple of weeks, I'm shocked. And I tell even my friends, and I go, and I'm not trying to recruit. I'm saying, hey, I know I sound like I drank the Kool-Aid, but the reality is like, this is the best product I've seen. An agent can be successful if they look at it every single day and touch one app. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like to say it's like the buffet at the Bellagio. You know, you can't eat the whole thing. Don't even try. But
Don't even try.
you can take a little bit here and there, and next thing you know, you've got yourself a really good plan, okay, to be successful in this business. And I know I'm a company guy too, but I'm telling you, when I first came here, I've been here 7 years now. When I first came here, I said, Mark, your agents are spoiled. That's how good, because I've coached a lot of different agents and companies.
Mhm.
And these guys, and now with the VAC 2.0, it's actually ridiculous the kind of stuff that you can pull off.
And that's the challenge right there. It's so much that I feel like we go back to old habits and, write all our notes down and keep everything on a piece of paper and follow up with our Post-its, because you look at this great product that's so elaborate that you don't know how to tackle it. And so you definitely have to be hyper focused on learning one part of your business really well and
Right.
using the VAC.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. All right. So I think that covers farming extensively. Now you mentioned expired. How did you guys handle expired? What was your program there?
I have to say it was pretty beautiful. So I'm a creative individual. I like to do things that I like that are in my wheelhouse. So I love photography. And so I would take a picture. I had professional pictures done all over Temecula wine country. And I would put it in a vellum paper, an 8.5 envelope with a letter from myself and business partner explaining our capability of being able to be the realtor and company that could sell their home. And I would have a series of these envelopes go out for a whole month, once a week. And so I'd have a beautiful picture of Temecula that would keep. I would send out, I just happened to find this, so it's not totally staged, but then I would send some postcards of just some positive quotes that they could keep. And eventually, finally, after the third week of that, I would make the phone call and say, hey, I sent you some things. I wondered if you enjoyed that picture. Did you like that quote? Did you find some value? How can we talk about getting your home sold?
Mm, good. See, so you did it with phone calling and a mail campaign with a very unique, different approach that probably no one else is doing. It's the first time I've heard of it
Right.
quite.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be able to provide something that people would open up. It was beautifully done. And because I've seen product, everything's in the packaging. So I'm the package, what I produce is the package. And so if they like it, then they have more of an opportunity to want to have a conversation. And if anything, they've kept the photo because it was beautifully done and the positive quotes, because that's in my wheelhouse. It makes it an easy conversation to have happen. And then you make the phone call and say, hey, did you receive my stuff? And most people were okay. And then, of course, you had your regular marketing to expireds only. And they started seeing just your mailer. So I did more of a lot of written stuff, because I feel that when you're talking to a client, they're not only visual. You got to use all of the senses to capture a client, and you need to recognize right away which is their highest sense. So I have to start using all of them to see what triggers first. And people are very visual,
Yeah, that's true. Very visual, right?
very visual.
Very, very good point. Awesome. 'Cause that sounds like a great way to attack the expired today, especially for people wanting to do it a slightly different way.
Absolutely. And I think and it was the market, which was wine country, so it's typically a higher priced um, product out there. And so you have to just do more. If you want it, you have to do more.
Yeah.
You have to be uncomfortable. You have to risk it. And at least we got opportunities, but I'd have to say quite a bit of those expireds trickled down to referrals, and that made the game easier.
Right. Especially those properties, their days on market because the average sale price is a little higher. So you have
Mhm.
more time. And I think having that patient, consistent approach is awesome. Would you do the same thing with for sale by owners? Or because I heard you mention FISBOs, you're speaking my language. Expired,
Yeah,
FISBOs, just
yeah,
listed,
I
just.
know. And because those are the things that I feel like I wanted to mention because agents don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. And it's rejection at its highest level. I door knocks FISBOs. So that's I would come in with just some marketing material of some just solds, and some marketing material that I would provide for my listings, and knock on the door and say, I'd like to share how I could sell your home and discuss why you're going the route of doing this by yourself. And I've talked to a lot of closed doors, where people just barely spoke to you. And
Yeah.
I'd sometimes leave the package right on the porch, and then send a note and my brownies, and that worked. It was the brownies. I
Okay.
think it was the brownies. I don't know.
Ask you what kind of brownies. I mean, you are from California. You know
Yeah,
what I
not
mean?
those kind of brownies. Not those kind of brownies.
I'm
Just
only kidding.
true chocolate brownies.
Yeah.
What
Well,
I did
tell them they're
here,
so much more friendly.
yeah, they're a lot happier.
Yeah.
What I did here was anybody that would knock on my door for my business was at least somebody I would consider to talk to. So, and I didn't get them all, but I got the success in being able to have a conversation was enough energy to get me somewhere else. And that's what you need to realize, that you're not going to always get all of them. You're going to get rejected. But the fact that you got up to plate and you swung, then that was enough energy and mojo for me to kind of feel energetic enough to continue to go down that road.
Okay. All right, good. I love it. So it's obvious to me why you were successful as an agent. You had all kinds of proactive momentum and activities going on. Obviously, a very positive outlook and attitude, which is very helpful, right? So
Yes,
if you
100%.
if you could sum this up, let's say we're talking to the new agent or the agent who's struggling to get to the next level. What would be the three? Give us three like real important factors that they should consider.
Well, it's hard for me to say three. I'm going to cheat and say 3-1 and 3-2, but
Okay.
most importantly, in my opinion, you have to have priorities, must haves in your life. I call them must haves. Other people will call them non negotiables in your life. You've got to draw as a line in the sand somewhere on what you won't do. So, and when I say that, the priorities in my life or the must haves that I have that I've identified are five things: my
No.
faith, my family, I believe in growth, respect, and honesty. And I live by those five principles. My routine is based off of those five principles. And so when I say you have to know your must-haves or your non-negotiables in life, you need to have a routine. And if you don't know, what time you're getting up and what time you're going to bed and what you're doing in between those hours, then it's just a free for all day and it's very accidental. And that's what I call accidentally successful, and it's not repeatable. So you must have a routine, and that has to include your non negotiables and must haves in your life that protects you as a person.
So it sounds like balance is very important, and I would agree with you 100%. So you have your work goals, you have your family goals, you have your faith goals, you have your health goals, you have all of those
Absolutely.
goals, and they should all be in harmony and heading in the right direction, right?
Absolutely. So now you've got a great rhythm. So it's one of those things, like I feel when I get up in the morning, I know that I'm up before most of the world. And I love that. And I get through what's important to me. And then I have the energy to tackle today because I'm fueled up. So routine is huge. Secondly, I think that you have to have accountability. You can't do this. Life is not meant to be done alone. Business cannot be done alone. If you think you're an independent contractor, it doesn't mean you do it solo. You need to catch up to someone who can spark you up a little bit to keep you energized. So accountability is a big thing. So as a new agent, if you're going at it, you need to connect with a brokerage and the people inside the brokerage to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to start this real estate career. I want you to help me on setting some goals and keep me accountable to that.
Love
And
it.
the third one, I would say, get uncomfortable. If you have to be uncomfortable, it's not fun. Believe me, it takes a lot of energy to knock on a door. The first time I did it, I froze up. I looked at straight in the face, and I really just I stumbled. It was terrible. It was terrible. But I was uncomfortable, and I had to figure out, how am I going to get comfortable in this uncomfortable process? And so get uncomfortable. Don't do it easy. Passive marketing isn't going to get you successful gaining income. That is why you're here. So you have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love it. One of my sayings is become comfortable being uncomfortable. I think you need to be comfortable. It's funny. I was driving in this morning, and I spoke at Aldo's office this morning. Aldo and Chuck, the Southwest office in Vegas. You're getting to know them more and more. On the way there, I had a few coaching calls, right? So my normal morning starting at 7. And first call, Rick, I love this market. It's incredible. 7 weeks in a row, I've listed properties. And even if I list them on Monday, I put them on the market on Thursday.
Yeah.
All showing Saturday and Sunday, under contract by Monday. She's done that 7 or 8 weeks in a row now, right? I'm like, that's awesome. My next call, I hate this market. Talk me off the ledge. Talk me off the ledge. I go, oh, you're working with buyers, aren't you? Yes, right? She goes, I'm not used to having people, my contract's not accepted, and that's the thing right there. This market is incredibly awesome, splendid, superific, whatever you want to call it, if you're working with listings. If you're working with buyers and you're one of 17 offers, not as much fun. Now, I didn't say don't work with buyers, but you should. Everything you just mentioned, Alicia, with all the proactiveness and everything, that all is incredibly proactive towards taking listings and buyers, but mostly towards taking listings. And that's really where you want to be in this market, right?
Right. And that's why I got into the industry work when it was flipping. So it was in that down market. And so I was working with investors, and they were buying homes. We were going to I wasn't personally, but I was working with people who literally had cashier's checks buying houses from the courthouse.
Yeah.
And so, in working in that, I was only working with sellers. So when I had the opportunity to work with buyers, it was a huge gear shift and a mentality that really has to step back and realize that there's a lot of fear that you're dealing with. There's a lot of rejection. They're not sure. So my value as a buyer's agent, your value is being able to communicate with them on the regular. Never go quiet, because when they go quiet, their mind is going 100 miles an hour. And it's up to you to be of value by saying, this is going to be okay. The market these are the expectations you're setting for them, and just let them know we're going to get one. We're going to get one. It's just going to take time. And I'm here all the way with you.
All right. Well, Alicia, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking your time out this morning. This was compatible. I'm sure people got nuggets and things about it. So thank you very much for your time today. Everybody else, we'll do this again on Thursday. Thank you for viewing in. Thanks, Alicia. Appreciate it. All right.
Bye. Have a good day. See you.
Talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye now.